He's going to be showing us some rups here. Let's get him on the program. I'm going to introduce you to our good friend, Bill Stull. How you doing, Bill? And let me turn his mic on. My apologies, Bill. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your coming on tonight. Now, you looks like you've got some racing rups there. I'm going to put you full screen, and maybe you can tell us about some of these rups and some racing history that any of these might have.
Yeah, right, sure. So 21 years ago was my first season of racing vintage snowmobiles, and I started with rup, and it was my first snowmobile that I ever personally bought, and it was a rup. And so I got into collecting, and then a buddy of mine, we went up to Eagle River on a Wednesday when they used to run vintage at Eagle River, and I saw that, and I'm like, I could do that. I think I'd enjoy that. So then the next year, I built an oval sled, and 21 years later, here I am still racing these rups. So it's kind of funny. 21 years ago, I met some really good friends in the sport, and they were buddies, and there was racing. And now, fast forward 21 years, I'm still racing. I'm racing my buddies' kids. My buddies have retired, so. But you know what? I still can run with them, and it's just a fun time. I really, really enjoy it. So I don't plan on giving it anytime soon, even though I do talk about retiring. But each season, there's always a glimpse of more speed, more better this, more better that, better sled, and I think I can do it. So I'll be out there again next year.
Nice. You'll be doing it as long as you possibly can.
I betcha.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I wonder if you could tell us about some of the highs and lows and maybe any accidents that you've either seen or experienced doing this.
Oh, the sport has changed tremendously since the beginning. When I first started racing, I really did race a real vintage rough snowmobile, a 73 Magnum. Not much you changed from it. Was how it was the way it came from the factory. Back when Gene Bloom and John Binkley were running these roughs, it was basically the same sled. Not much changed since the way they raced. But then as the sport evolved, more people got in. We had a certain amount of rules. People stretched the rules, and pretty soon here we are. Man, we can just do some crazy, crazy stuff. So some of the highs, obviously when you're winning, you're having a good day. Those are all good. Some of the lows, when your stuff's breaking, accidents. Some things just don't go right from the beginning. Other days or other weekends of racing are just amazing. It's just like, geez, can't get much better than this. And but had some lows. Had a couple bad accidents back to back. Not my fault. Just racing. Some is people driving over their head. Some was mechanical failure on someone's part, or my part. It just happens. It's unfortunate. But the rough driving. I mean, we're only racing for a little bit of money and basically a plastic trophy. And my thoughts have always been, I got to go to work on Monday. So I push the limit. I'm a crazy driver out there. I really push the limits, but I do have in the back of my head, I got to go to work on Monday, which I think 99.9% of the people I race against have that same thought. So I do race against a really good group of guys. Got to be really good friends. And if we had an incident on the track, there might be a little bit of heated discussion, but at the end of the day, I think for the most part, we all shake hands and we fix our stuff up and just keep on going. So.
Nice. While you're talking about that, that leads me to a question that always has intrigued me with racers is on the track, they don't cut each other any slack whatsoever. They really give each other hell, but off the track, they're the best of friends. And after the race, they'll have beers together and laugh together. And I wonder if you could go into a little detail about what that dynamic is like for both you and some of the friends that you're close with that you race against.
Oh, sure. So like last year we had an incident, a really good, friend and family that race. And, just one of those things. I got run over the skis and I rolled and I was pissed and just 20 minutes later, it's no big deal, I understand, and have a couple of drinks or shake hands or whatever it is, you kind of let that go out the door, because you know what, he didn't mean it, I didn't mean it. If I did it to somebody, honestly, it was a racing incident, and you're going to have those. And the thing is that most of us can just basically shake hands and just understand that it was just a racing incident. I mean, when you race these sleds at these speeds and as rough as the tracks get and the way the sleds bounce around, there's bound to be contact. And like I said, I will go on a limit to that 99.9% of the people that I race against have no intention of wiping you out, and I sure as heck do not have any intention of wiping you out. So it's a really good bond that us racers have. I mean, and then on top of it, we have to have a lot of trust, because at the speeds we're going, you have to trust the next guy next to you. And this is almost basically like a Talladega or Daytona racing, where you're trusting the guy in front of you, the guy beside you, the guy behind you. I mean, this isn't just like normal truck racing. I mean, there's a lot of trust in this sport. And like I said, the guys I race against, I think I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to race against.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's going to be some amazing camaraderie. And I understand what you're saying about the trust, because when something does happen, maybe an accident or an incident that's unplanned, it happens at very high speeds and things happen really fast. And once it happens, it's happening. There's no taking it back, and it's nobody's fault. It was no one's intention, but you just have to roll with it, I guess.
Right. You can't stop it. I mean, once it starts, it's going until it's finished. And luckily, we haven't had in my racing organization. Luckily, we haven't had any serious accidents or fatalities, thank God. Before every race weekend when it starts, my wife, she used to race, Becky, my daughter Caitlin, who still races, us three, we have a little thing in our family. It's called, hold pinkies, and we hold pinkies. And I was born and raised in church. My dad was a preacher. So believe a lot of God, trust in God and stuff. And I say a prayer every race before we race every weekend. And Tom Lewis, he's an excellent photographer. Tom takes some great pictures. He's captured some of those pictures of Becky and I and Caitlin praying. And you know what? Honestly, God, I've never asked for a win. I asked, let us race good, let us race hard. You know, no mechanical failures. He doesn't always answer my prayers, you know. It's okay, you know, and you know, we're still here to race about it. But I just got firm belief in prayers before the race, and I really enjoy that.
I love that. And I agree with you too. To me, you know, prayer isn't asking about winning. It's about safety and guidance. And yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I'm looking here on the screen, Jim Gaucione, I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he's mentioning that your daughter was a world champion last year. I wonder if you could tell us a little about that.
Yeah, sure. So Caitlin started racing, I don't know, going on linear 7 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And when she started in juniors, Rupp doesn't have a snowmobile that's built to match the class at that time. So she was kind of back in the pack, and then I was always pumping her up that, you know, when you step up, you know, out of juniors, that you're going to be on a 75 route freer, then you're going to be on a level playground. So she was really pumped, and she couldn't wait to get on a 75 route freer, you know, and then so she raced that, and she got to be really competitive. And then we went to Ironwood, Michigan last year, and she raced, and Becky was also racing. Also, I think Becky got third in that race. And then but Caitlin, she checked out right from the get-go, and she won by a big amount. That was her first win, and she was so excited. And it was awesome. We went to Eagle River, and then she had a heat race, and I don't remember where she placed in the heat race, but it was good, and the sled was running really good, and she had a really good line. And then when the race came, she spun. So the World Championship race was on Sunday for the women's last year. She spun off the line. She was dead last. I think there was 7 ladies and her, so there's 8 in the class. And she had to come from behind. And by the time they went around turn 2, she picked up a few spots, and she was fast, and she picked up a few more, and pretty soon she's in second, and she's battling Kendra Sacco. And Caitlin would get around Kendra, and then Caitlin was, Kendra was ahead of Caitlin. Caitlin was trying a little bit too hard, and sometimes you got to go slower to go faster. And Caitlin was blowing turn 1 at Eagle River, and she was drifting away up the hill. I'm like, oh, come on, you know. And then she would be way behind, but she had a lot of smoke, and she would catch Kendra. And 3 and 4, she was handling the corners really well, and that was a great battle. And then it came down to the last corner, and then Caitlin got around Kendra, and Caitlin won the world championship in this class. You know, and as a parent, you know, I mean, it's amazing watching your kids grow, and you know, from just a little squirt to you know, a woman, and how good of a driver she is, and she did really good. I couldn't be more proud. And Becky was announcing, and Becky up in the booth, it was crazy. She was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" You know, and she's supposed to announce her no bias, right, Becky? You know, so, but no, it was a very, very proud moment. I think that every parent, you know, have when their kid does, you know, something really good to, you know, school or life, or you know, for us racing here, you know. So I mean, with Becky and I, we could be happier. The whole team was, you know, I mean, my whole team was we were just living it pretty high. She did great.
That's amazing. And if I understand correctly, your wife Becky is an announcer for the races. Do I understand that correctly? Yeah,
she's a heck of an announcer. You know, there's that saying, women don't forget. Well, Becky, she doesn't forget numbers, she doesn't forget names. And I can ask her, who's number, you know, 67X? Oh, that's Paul Stockwell, you know. She just knows, you know, off the top of her head. But obviously, Paul and I are really good buddies, so I just, you know, named him. But no, she can pick off numbers, people from the East Coast, from the West Coast, from Michigan. I mean, she knows the names and numbers, and she adds a lot to the race. And then people come up to me all through the weekend at like Eagle River. People ask or say things to me like, "Oh, tell Becky she's doing a great job." And yeah, she announces for Eagle River. She's been up there for quite a long time. And then she also announces for Pro Vintage Racing, also that we race with. And she does just awesome. She's good on the mic. She really is.
Excellent, amazing. Now we've got John Spranger Jr. on here, and he's wondering if we can have a close-up of these Rups. The gentleman is holding the camera for you. I don't know if it's on a tripod or if he's holding it in his hands, but is it possible to go in for some close-ups of these, maybe talk up details about them?
Sure. So this is my 440 Supermod. There's not a lot of Rupp left in this, but it is Rupp. I mean, we run original bulkheads. This original steel bulkhead, and then we cut off and we fab from there. So, and then this is, you know, the way the technologies went. This has got a complete computer system on it. So we plug a little chip into the computer after we're running. It tells us everything it did. It did mile per hour and, you know, everything, temperatures, EGTs. I mean, the whole ball wax. So it's a really, really fun sled. I've had this sled for quite a long time, and I really enjoy this. This is one of our, you know, our builds. This sled here, Caitlin's sled, it's a world championship sled. She had some struggles this year with changing some things in the motor. I just don't think that we had coverage in the motor setup quite right. And then this last weekend was our last race in Manawha, Wisconsin. And Caitlin had a DNF on Saturday, and then we came back Saturday night, and me and my team, we worked on it, not all night, but we got done about 11 o'clock, got it loaded back up in the truck, and then Caitlin raced it on Sunday, and she wasn't prepared for that. We got it right finally, and she launched it. She almost fell off. She had to let off the gas. She goes, I wasn't expecting that, so then she was last because she had to let off, and then she had to drive around some traffic, and she got up to second. So she was smiling that it just ran and everything was good. So it's amazing how 1 year can just change like so good and then not so good, So, but we got the last race and we got it figured out. So we got a lot to look forward for her for next year. She's really happy with that. This one here, another Supermod sled. This is my 76 Magnum. This is a liquid cooled 250 Zenoa liquid. Really, really, really fun sled. Man, I love this sled. This is a fun sled to drive. But 76 Magnum Supermod also. And then this is a 75 Route Premier Supermod. This is a 340 Supermod. So as right now, I actually sold this sled. So it's amazing. Didn't even get much time on it. And guy fell in love with it. And he says, I want that sled. And he's not even going to race it. He's actually probably going to put it on the shelf and stare at it. That's what he said. So didn't even get a full season on this sled. And we got a couple thirds with it. Motor was strong, but the brand new chassis, and it was really tight for me. It wasn't 100% set up yet. We just needed to spend one more day on the ice just with this sled, setting up the chassis and getting it to handle correctly. And I think it would have been, a very dominant sled in the 340 Supermod class. But I got a couple thirds with it, so I was happy with it for a first year sled and not a lot of test time. We got such a slow start up here for the winter, and it just didn't get a lot of test time with it. But as right now, it's sold. So maybe next year we'll build another one. So, and then the picture on the wall here, this is kind of cool. This is a guy that did this here. He was actually filming. This was supposed to be for a movie that never actually did get produced, but that was for a movie, and that was my 440 Supermod triple. And that, without a doubt, was probably my funnest sled I ever had. That son of a gun was so doggone fast and so fun to drive. And then, unfortunately, we had a failure, a drive shaft failure, and that sled got slammed into the wall and got destroyed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it got destroyed. I got knocked out, and I was pretty banged up on this accident. And so we rebuilt it, and it was never the same. It didn't handle right. It just was not the same sled. And same thing, I sold that to a museum and had now that's sitting on the shelf as a look at me type sled. So
Sure. Yeah, that's a beautiful sled and a beautiful poster. And I want to thank people that are making comments and giving you compliments on these sleds. And I just wanted to remind our viewers that if you have questions for Bill or if you'd like to pay a compliment, please do so in the comment section. The other thing I was going to ask you, Bill, about the racing. Do I understand that you have a team of racers that you're racing with?
Yep. So my team consists, it's had different people over the years, but two people that have been with me for a very long time is my nephew Will Stahl, and he works for me here at the body shop also, and works on cars and snowmobiles. And then Matt Claire, who's been working with me since like 2005, 6 here at the shop. He's been here a long time. So those two guys have been with me the longest. And there's some up and down, just not in the racing world is racing, but as a team too. There's sometimes when buddies are buddies and something's aggravated, and sometimes things just kind of butt heads a little bit. But you know what? Same thing. At the end of the day, we're pretty cool. But other people that I've had that I have on a team, like this year, Jeremy Shea, he's a new guy here at the shop, been working since the fall, and he's a real good guy to buy shop, and also a good guy with the snowmobiles. He comes with us, and then Aaron, he's kind of just works the way he is around the sled. He's not up on the sled mechanics part of it, but he's a good help. We need help taking stuff out to the trailer to the shop. And then our thing, he took a bunch of pictures this year and kind of filmed us doing our thing. So it's the first time I ever had kind of like a on set type photographer. So he's been good. So yeah, thanks Jeremy and Aaron for the help. But Matt and Will, if it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't have 4 sleds. I could probably handle 1 set myself, but not having the fleet of roughs that I have, it wouldn't be possible. And then there's so many people that have been on the team and over the years, and they've had fun, but things change. They had girlfriends, now they're married, or whatever. They grow up and do their own thing. But no, it's without a team. It's hard to operate. And I have a great team.
Nice. Now we've got a question here from Keith Wiggin. He's wondering if any of the original non-modified reps are running in races these days. I don't know if he's talking about your reps or reps in general at the races.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of classes across the board that you can run in. There's stock, there's super stock, there's pure stock. Pure stock PBR invented that class years ago, and there's not much you can change from that. So there is that. But out of these reps here, this sled right here, Caitlin's, this is called super stock. You can't alter this very much. This is basically about the way they came from the factory. So you can't alter this sled much. You can put a better track in it. We're not allowed to run heated tracks anymore, so we have to put a rubber track in it. And and we can run an updated suspension. You can't run, say, like a Wall Brother suspension, but you can run a suspension 84 and older. But we rerun the original rubber rails in here yet. So we have the rough suspension with the shims and the leaf springs, and it's kind of primitive to some of the other ones, but it works great. So, but this is basically your bone stock sled, super stock sled.
Nice, nice. Now, Eric Schuett is giving you a compliment. He says that Bill and his family and crew are great people with really nice equipment. So it's nice to see some compliments coming in for you.
Thank you.
Sure. Now, also, to shift gears a little bit, when you're not racing, when you're not racing RUPS, you're also collecting RUPS. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, I have a huge collection of rough snowmobiles and parts, and I'm the number one supplier of rough parts for sure. There's a lot of people that are doing rough parts, that help people out. There's a bunch of used parts, but we do a lot of reproduction parts, from the fiberglass to seat covers, the decals. I mean, you name it, we pretty much got it. But I mean, there's just some stuff that just is not, feasible to try to reproduce because of cost and stuff like that. But
sure,
if I don't have it, I try to turn people on when they can get it.
Nice. Now, while we're talking about that, I'm going to put a graphic for your business up on the screen. So if anyone wants to reach out to you either for parts or restoration work, or I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about some of the services and things that you offer aside from the parts you just talked about.
Yeah, we do complete snowmobile restorations here on the rough snowmobiles. We've done actually some other brands too, but mostly roughs, and we built some killer roughs. We built some years ago, and then this thing called What If, and it's really picked on through the whole snowmobile market. But as far as I know, I'm the one that built this first one, What built this. And what I did is I took, like this hood here, this is not a rough hood at all, but it's parts of a rough hood. It's part of a liquid coat, like right here. It's part of that, part of the free air, part here, and then when I decal them, I try to use like original rough decals, and I try to incorporate it somehow. So that's what I do in my custom stuff. But yeah, we do a lot of customizing. We do complete stock restorations. In the snowmobile vintage world, in the shows, there's that thing called over restored, and the polished tunnels and all the show foam, and the things are so much better looking than what they were factory. The factory producing these, out the door on the floor, so they sell them. The people that restore them, we're restoring them, over restoring them. So we do have some of that business, and other customers, they ask it to be just like it was if I was on the showroom floor. So it's actually a pretty big white thread how we restore a site and what people want. And then obviously if you over restore it, it gets to be fairly expensive, and not everybody wants to spend that kind of money, but then the next guy, he wants to spend that kind of money. So I have a really big range of customers that I deal with.
Nice. So different customers have different needs.
Yep.
Nice. I'm going to put your graphic up on the screen again in case someone wants to reach out to you. And in the few minutes that we have left, one of the things I wanted to talk about is, I know when we spoke earlier, you mentioned that you've got a museum in the works. I wonder if you could tell us a little about that.
Yeah. So in my area here where my body shop is, this is our race shop right now where we're at for the winter time, and then in summertime it's this all here will be a car. But I have another warehouse, and I remodeled the front half of it, and it's all done. And as soon as the snowmobiles are going to get back in there, start moving some stuff around. And I have a huge amount of rough memorabilia. I got brand new helmets and suits and stuff I just never sold that I want to put on display. I never had a place to put it. I have a huge warehouse where all my parts are and stuff, but it's set up for parts, and I got sleds in there. It's a nice display. It's pretty impressive, but I want to build a museum so when rough people do come here and buy parts from me, and I can show them, some really, really cool stuff. And please believe, understand, it's not a thing with me to say, hey, look what I got. It's a thing to show people, look what Rupp did. I mean,
yes,
I'm not a look at me type of guy. I want to show it off so people can enjoy it. Is what I want.
More of a celebration of the Rupp brand, so to speak.
Yeah.
Nice. I wonder if I'm hoping that you'll stay in touch with us too as you get closer to your big reveal with the museum. We would love to do a tour of that on the podcast when that's ready.
Sure, you bet. It's going to be really cool. I got some really, really rare Rupps. I'm going to have some of my race sleds in there all restored that I ran through all the years. Clothing, posters, you name it. It's going to be really cool.
Wonderful. Well, great. I really appreciate your coming on, Bill. Any final words before we wrap it up?
Just like to thank. I got a lot of fan following. In these last few years, when I got in an accident here way back in 2017, if there was one accident that ever scared me, it was that one. And it just hasn't been the same. But you know what? We snuck back up on it, and we won this year. We won last year. We're getting back into that winning form. I get people. I come on Monday. My phone's ringing off the hook. My Facebook Messenger is going off. It's like, how the race is going. I got a huge fan following, and I honestly just got to say thank you to all my fans and friends and the support from the girlfriends and the wives from my team. And I just, there's a lot of love. I just like to say thank you all. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Well, yeah, thank you so much, Bill, for coming on, and please do keep us posted with the progress of your museum. We would love to have you on again once that's ready.
Sure. And then one last thing, I just said about the girlfriends for the team, but just in my life, I've sacrificed a lot of family time, away from Becky and Caitlin, especially as growing up. But the thing is, they both understand what it takes to do what we want to do. And we got to put 1,000,000 hours into this to make it work. And my guys do it, I do it, and I have a very understanding family. And without their support, it wouldn't be possible. So Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Caitlin. I really appreciate it. Love you both.
Excellent. All righty. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Bill. It was great to meet you.
You too. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All righty. Take care. Well, that was awesome, folks. Let me get to the right place here on the screen. What do we have next here? We're going to bring Max Collins in. He's going to be telling us about a vintage snowmobile show that he's working on. Let me just get him on the screen here. How you doing, Max?
Hey, Mike. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Well, my pleasure. It's great to have you on. So Island Pond, Vermont, and I think 2 weeks time, 2 weeks or 3 weeks time, you've got a cool new vintage show coming out. I wonder if you could tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the folks at the Kingdom Grill in Island Pond, Vermont, long-standing establishment, used to be the Pond's Edge, and good friends of mine took it over and turned it into the Kingdom Grill. They're going to put on a vintage sled show, and it's going to be on Saturday, March 13th. And we're hoping to get some vintage enthusiasts together and kind of have a hangout where people who enjoy the heritage of the sport and people who've been involved in it for a long time can get together and have some fun.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, Island Pond, Vermont is fairly remote, but it's very much worth the trip because that is a mecca for snowmobiling. There's going to be a lot of trail riders there stopping by to see what's going on, and it sounds like you've got some good exhibitors lined up as well. Are there any exhibitors that you might want to tease us about to tell us what we can expect?
Oh, not too many in particular that I can tell you about, but I know we've had a lot of interest in the event and a lot of people that are going to be bringing multiple vintage sleds up for everybody to see and to hang around with. And I think we can expect to see some really cool vintage sleds up there.
Nice, nice. And I've got a graphic I'm going to put up so people can see some detail about this. If I understand it correctly, this is the catalyst for this is the Kingdom Grill. They're putting this on. I wonder if you could give a quick plug for that restaurant. I've been there. They've got really nice food. I wonder if you could tell us about that a little bit.
Absolutely. So they opened up to the public in late summer of this past year of 2020, in the midst of the COVID-19 ordeal. So they've really had an uphill battle, but they've done such a good job of putting together a restaurant and a great place for people to go enjoy. And given the guidelines of COVID, they've really done a spectacular job. So they are excited to put on an event that is going to host a lot of folks from hopefully the area. I think we have a lot of interest from that part of Vermont, and we have a lot of interest from New Hampshire and a little bit of Maine. And I think we're going to draw a nice crowd down there to see the offerings of the sled show.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I'd like to invite all of our viewers, anyone who's in northern New England, do come by and check it out. It's going to be a great show. And once again, it's in Island Pond, Vermont. Just go up Route 91 and do you take Route 5 to get out there?
In Lyndonville at 23, and you take Route 5 and you'll head out towards Island Pond. And like you said, it's a trail riding mecca. I mean, there's access to everywhere from there. In other years, you'd have great access to Canada. I know you can't get to Canada, obviously, now with the COVID restrictions, but just great access to all of Vermont, Canada, Maine, New Hampshire. It's such a trail riding hub that I think we're going to really, see a lot of people from a lot of places.
Yeah. And then if any of our viewers happen to be trail riding in northern Vermont, head that way. It's a great way to spend some time with some vintage snowmobile enthusiasts and see some great vintage sleds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to tell you, I've been watching this episode from the beginning, and you had Bill Stull on here with those vintage Rups. How cool is that? I know in the summer months, I'm a racer of karts and I work on stock cars, and I love that racing world. So to see those old Rups all done up for racing, how cool was that? That
was amazing. He's got quite a collection, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. They're beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's as serious as they come when it comes to racing.
Yes, sir.
Now, when we spoke earlier, you also mentioned that you're involved in the clothing line, some snowmobile clothing?
Yes. So I started a clothing line earlier this year, Snow Traveler Apparel. You can find us at snowtravelerapparel.com or Snow Traveler Apparel on Facebook, and just fun T-shirts and hats and fun stuff for folks to wear that are interested in the sport and that make their winters fun riding snowmobiles.
Yeah. And you'll have some of that apparel at the Vintage Snowmobile Show in Island Pond?
Definitely. Some little cool trinkets to hand out and some merchandise to sell. And we're going to have some great raffle items and raffle prizes. We've had a lot of great involvement from local organizations. The Brighton Snowmobile Club that maintains the trails and keeps everybody having fun in the Island Pond area is going to be present, and they're going to be raffling some things off. We're going to have a nice 50-50 raffle. Gervais Ace Hardware right there in the center of Island Pond has contributed some great items for raffles, and they've been a huge support for the event. We have some really cool stuff in the works.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, yeah, so if you end up going to this event, be sure and keep an eye out for Max and for his clothing line.
Yes,
well, cool. Well, cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Max.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. And like I said, we're going to have a great time down there. Like I said before, it's our first year. As far as the sled show goes, we're still kind of ironing out the nuts and bolts, and we're going to figure out how to put it all together. It's definitely going to be a fun hangout to see some cool vintage sleds and to get into the heritage of snowmobile riding and all of that. I think we're going to have a great time.
Good deal. I'll look forward to meeting you there in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. I'll be there.
All righty. Thanks for coming on, Max. Take it easy.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye-bye. Let me add him to the stream here. We've got our good friend, Bob Palmer. Let me get your mic on, Bob. How you doing, Mike? Bob?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really glad to have you on. Now, I understand you are a collector extraordinaire of all things vintage Arctic Cat from the early 70s. Wonder if you could fill us in on that.
I do my best. I started collecting heavily about 12 years ago, and it just spiraled out of control. And next thing you know, I filled up just about every room in my house, and I'm still looking for more.
That's amazing. You're my kind of guy. Yeah, I love that vintage stuff from the early 70s, especially the cat. There's something amazingly special about the cat paraphernalia. Now, I think you had a story about this jacket you're wearing. I wonder if you could tell me about that.
This jacket that I have on now, it's the Icelander coat. This one here was still in the box, and we'll get to the other Icelander coats when we work our way up to the loft, because I really have a special one to show you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, why don't we do this? I'm going to turn the camera around so you've got the full screen. I wonder if you could give us the narrated tour. And as people are reviewing this and have comments or questions, by all means, please leave comments for us in the comment section. So yeah, as you're turning that camera around, once you get that turned around, I'll switch it so you've got the full screen here.
Do you want me to turn it around?
Yes, yep, like we did a little earlier. That way you'll be able to see your screen and there we go. Perfect. That's wonderful. I'm going to put you full screen.
Okay.
Outstanding.
All right, we'll start off with some of the easy stuff. I have a Beat the Cat game, and the box is pristine. None of the corners are cracked or torn. Yeah. It has all the game pieces. It has all the markers. All the pieces are there, along with the instructions, and all the playing cards.
That's impressive. That was what, mid-70s, 74 roughly, I'm going to guess?
Yeah, around there. Wonderful. Here's one piece that you wouldn't think would be on a Vintage Snowmobile site, but it's one of my favorite pieces. This was the box that I assume they gave out to the employees on Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow. Is that like the Thanksgiving turkey?
The Thanksgiving turkey box.
No kidding. Arctic Enterprises.
Yeah. I mean, who would ever thought that someone would have kept one that long? But it's in really good shape for its age, and I'm glad to have it.
Yeah, for sure. And oven ready, no less.
Yeah, that's right. Here's another piece which is interesting. I've never seen one of these before either.
Burglar alarm. Wow.
And all the pieces are there.
So if someone starts to mess with that sled, an alarm will sound? Is that what's going on there?
I would assume that's what it does. I should put batteries in it and give it a shot, but I haven't fooled with it yet. But the instructions are all here and all the parts are here, and it's a really neat piece. I've never seen another one.
I've never seen such a thing. That's amazing. That has to be incredibly rare.
But yeah, I really like the turkey box. That's something different for sure.
Yeah, that's the gift that keeps on giving right there.
That's for sure. And I like to pick up just the little knickknacks. You know, here's a rivet kit for the tracks that had the grouser bars, the cleated tracks. Everything's still in there, still in the plastic, along with the instructions.
New old stock.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But everything's there. So we'll start in the first room. Unlike the vintage sled guys, you know, they can pull their sleds off a trailer and literally be set up in 5 minutes. It takes me hours. And the things that I'm going to show you tonight, it's not even half. And it took me all day to set a lot of this stuff up. Here's a few of my Black Magic items.
Wow. That's what, from the 90s?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. Oh, I like that race sled.
Yeah.
That's what, from the late 80s, that one?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Got an ashtray, yeah. Black Magic, yeah.
Yep. Got a deck of playing cards, and they're all there.
Nice.
I have a few more Black Magic t-shirts still in the bag.
Nice.
This one here is as well. And this is from '93. I have a bunch of Cat Fest stuff too. These t-shirts are still in the bag.
Yeah.
And there's the deck of playing cards.
Nice.
So we'll move out here to the shelf that's in my living room. These are the dash mounted and pod mounted compasses from back in the day. And they were still in the box with all the parts and all the mounting accessories.
Nice. I love that purple ring.
Yeah. And of course, a lot of people have the Ice Patrol model, and that's all there.
Nice.
And then here's one from the 80s.
Very nice. That's a Jeep Comanche pickup or something?
Yeah, yeah. This here piece is before they made computers, I guess. These are all the parts. The parts cards. I guess when a dealer would order cards, he would order them off these cards instead of a computer. There must be, I have 2 or 3 racks of these. There must be 10,000 of these cards.
So that's how they fulfill those orders.
Yeah, it's really neat to go through it and see some of the parts, and clothing is actually included. It's really a neat piece for sure.
Yeah, I like that. I've never seen anything like that either. That's like
No.
internal Thief River Falls stuff.
Yeah. This picture here, this was signed by Edgar.
Really? Edgar Hiddine?
Yeah. Yep.
That's amazing.
There's a can of paint.
Yeah. Now, what's that
This
dial
here-
network? What does that mean?
This I picked up at Heydays a few years ago. This is probably something that sat on somebody's desk. It was just a telephone directory.
Wow, so an internal directory of all of the employees if you need to reach someone
Yeah.
inside the company?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Now we'll see some of the buttons I have here. Most of these are politically incorrect and probably wouldn't work today, but we're going to show them anyhow.
That's all good. The cat's purr. Spirit's going to move you. The cat will be here year after year. That is amazing. The cat was here. Good times are coming on the cat. I remember that campaign.
Yeah.
Get something exciting between your legs. Ride an Arctic Cat snowmobile. Here we go. I like sex on the Arctic Cat snowmobile. Nice. This is the year of the cat. I remember that campaign. The cat was here.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What is it? Be nice to me. What's that say? Be nice to me. I have an Arctic Cat.
Yep.
Nice.
Here's a dealer sticker that probably went on his window.
Yeah.
I have a couple gas cans. They're in pretty good shape.
Nice. Purple Power Lube. I remember that.
Yep.
Panther Purple.
Yep. I even got some new funnels. Who would ever thought somebody would have collected funnels?
I remember those. We had a couple of those.
Yep. And on top of my display case, I have a bunch of items from the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, that was 2012, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then on my second shelf, I have, kind of hard to see with the light on, I have a bunch of mugs and glasses. I have the ice bucket with the four glasses, which is a pretty rare item.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I love that cat head logo. That's my favorite of all.
Yeah. There's probably 20 more in there. They're just all buried. There's lots of them in there.
Wow. Good times are coming on the cat.
Yep. One of my favorite pieces, this is a piece of marble. Has the cat head on it.
Yeah.
Says good times are coming on the cat.
Would that have been an award or something? Or
From what I had heard, it was just a paperweight that a manager kept on his desk, but it could have been an award. I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
And I have probably about 20 oil cans in here.
Yeah. Spirit, the old Suzuki engines.
Yep.
Wow. Power Purple Lube.
Yep, there's a bunch in there.
Purple Power Lube. I got that backward there.
Yep. Got a bunch of belt buckles. Some of them are still in the case.
Wow.
I got both records. There's two
Catting
records
around.
in there. Catting around in the year of the cat.
Yes, I had the year of the cat back in the day. I've never heard that catting around.
Okay.
That's cool.
Got some more belt buckles here still in the case. Got some cufflinks. Some more items from the 93 Cat Fest. And a bunch of placemats.
Wow.
I'll show you some more of those.
Oh, and I see the spark plug holders too. We had a few of those back in the day.
Yeah. Yep. There's a bunch of them back there.
Nice.
Here's some more of those politically incorrect stickers.
Nice. Yeah, that is it's politically incorrect for sure, but I love it.
That's for sure.
That's cool. I saw the cat ferry. What's it say? Okay, just the address, Thief River Falls.
Now, these few pieces here are a little bit special to me because Penn Art Distributors was in Pennsylvania, and it's reasonably close to where my cabin is up in the northern part of the state.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid going in there, and if I would have known then what I know now, I would have showed up with a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
All this stuff that we collect was in there in boxes and boxes and boxes.
Wow, cases and cases of it.
Yeah.
The proverbial mother load.
Oh, it was. It was.
That's amazing.
And the gentleman that ran that was Paul Asper. And
Gotcha.
Edgar credited him for really pushing the brand forward on the East Coast. He moved a lot of sleds.
No kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we'll go back to another bedroom here. I got some bags here. They're all in really nice shape.
Yeah.
Another one.
Nice. That's more from the 90s, that one, I think.
Yeah. That's
Nice.
probably late 80s, I'm sure.
Sure. Is that a stool, Arctic Cat stool?
No, this is another bag.
Oh, a bag was stood up on the end. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was just up on the end.
Yeah. Nice.
Here's some of my favorite pieces. You know, a lot of people have the coats, but they don't have them in the bag.
Yeah. That's pretty darn rare. Yeah, that's going to be extremely valuable, I would think. Now, Jeff Nix is asking where you're finding these. Do you find these at shows or Heydays or eBay, or how do you find a lot of these things?
Certainly you find a few things on eBay. That's still in the bag, by the way.
Yeah.
I post a lot of my items on the Vintage Arctic Cat Snowmobile Facebook page.
Yeah.
And it works out really well for me because I post so much and I get so many private messages from people that say, this has been hanging in my closet for 50 years. Would you be interested in it? Because I know you're not looking to turn stuff. And I get a lot of my stuff that way for sure.
Oh, they know it's going to a good home, so you're like a buyer of choice. For
right.
Them.
Yeah.
That
here's
makes sense.
another.
Once you get a reputation.
Here's another weird item. This is a box with just stickers on it that I assume they put on items that they were selling.
Sure. Inventory stickers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
nice.
a little knickknack.
That's cool.
I love the stuff still in the bags for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's premium. And what's that odd shaped bag right there? In this, is that for boots or something, or what?
No, that's I don't know what you would call it, but it's made out of the material that they make covers out of. Supposedly that was something that was laying on a manager's desk. That's the rumor I heard. So I can't verify it, but that's what I heard.
Nice, yeah.
But it's it's about 10 inches long.
Now, would a miniature snowmobile go in there? Because it looks like the shape of a snowmobile. Is that what that was for?
Yeah, it's just the shape of a snowmobile. I don't think it's meant for anything. I think it was just a decorated desk.
Yeah.
So we'll move in here. Got a bunch of gloves here.
Yeah. I remember those.
Yep.
I used to love those with the stripes.
Yeah.
Purple, white, and green. Yeah, that brings back memories. And the little buckle with the medallion there, the buckling medallion.
Yep.
Yeah. That is amazing.
And I have some here with the tags on them.
Yeah. Brand new, never used.
Yep.
That's amazing. And the purple gloves.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Here, I have some that are in the bag, which is really cool.
Yeah, look at that. Now that's what, a sweater?
No, these are the mittens. They go with the coat that I'll show you in a few minutes.
Okay. Oh, those are big mittens.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, look at that. That brings back memories of seeing those hanging in the dealerships in the early to mid 70s.
Sure.
There'd be a wall of that stuff in any Arctic Cat dealership.
Yeah. And then here's these gloves or mittens still in the bag.
Yeah, very nice.
This is a unique piece. This is a woman's sash. If you look on YouTube under Arctic Man video, under Arctic Man, you'll see the woman that was wearing this sash, which is pretty cool.
Wow, yeah. That was like a pageant, or was that is that at a race or something? She was Miss Arctic Cat, or how did that?
Yeah, it was just at the races. Yep.
Nice, yeah.
It's an excellent shape, but I'm really glad to have it. I really like it.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll move on to another room here.
Now, Brian T. Wilson is asking if you have any sweaters, and I'm sure you do.
Well, we'll get to the sweaters.
Sure, yeah.
Here's a Tonka Altegra.
There we go, yeah.
Still in the box. Perfect shape.
Yeah, that's cool.
One of my favorite pieces.
Yeah, oh, a clock, yeah.
The Snow Pro clock. It works, and the lights all work. And the best part about it is I have all 3 clock faces.
Wow. Oh, so you replace, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. So you can change that out depending on your mood.
Yep.
That's amazing.
These here are weird pieces as well. These were radio commercials on tapes.
Oh, no kidding. Reel-to-reel tapes.
Yeah.
No kidding. 1974. 1970. That's amazing. 1971. 73. 74, I think.
Yep.
73. That is unbelievable. I've never seen that, anything like that.
But
That's
they're
amazing.
they're neat pieces as well.
Yeah.
And then here we got, these go in the side of your pickup truck if you were a dealer.
Yeah.
They're magnetized.
Very nice. On the authorized dealer plaque.
Yep.
Very cool.
We got 3 lighters here. They're all in excellent shape.
Yeah, I love that middle one.
Yep.
That's amazing.
There's another dealer decal that I had framed.
Yeah.
Here we got a deck of playing cards. They're all here.
Nice. That screams early 70s, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. Here we go. We got some we got a tie clip.
Yeah.
We got another tie clip.
That's wonderful.
We got cufflinks. And we got various necklaces and pendants.
Yeah. A mighty good feeling. I remember that campaign. Yep. The panther head. Wow.
Get another swing.
Nice.
Another one. That
Oh, I love
clock
that
still
clock.
works.
Yeah, I like that.
Clock still works.
That's
Got a
amazing.
couple styrofoam balls here.
Yeah,
Couple styrofoam cups.
nice.
And we
Nice.
got 3 ties.
Wow, that's amazing.
This black one here is a rough one to get a hold of. From what I was told, they were given out to district reps. And I've
Really?
never seen another one, except in pictures.
No kidding. So that's extremely rare.
Yeah. Here's a pack of coasters, still in the plastic wrap.
Nice.
Here's another unique piece. From what I was told, there was only 10 of these made, and they were given out to district reps. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's amazing. I've never seen anything like that either.
No, there's not many of these around, but it's certainly a neat piece.
Yeah.
And we'll move into here. A lot of people ask me, do you collect helmets? And I have one. They just take up so much room. So I have one
Sure.
that's still in the box.
Nice. I love that. I remember those. I remember really liking those too when I was a kid in the 70s.
Yeah. And there's a frame I had made up when I went to the 50th. Kind
Oh,
of hard
nice.
to see.
Yeah, sure. That's
This
cool.
picture here, this was signed by Jim Dimmerman and Bob Elsner.
Yeah,
So that's a pretty cool piece.
yeah, for sure.
These posters are all original. None of these are repops.
Yeah, that's cool. The one to beat for sure. Champ after champ. It's the cat.
And then we'll move on to patches.
Yeah. Oh, and the placemat underneath there.
Yeah, one of those placemats.
Now, what's that one in top center to the left of the panther? Oh, cheetah. Cheetah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
with
another one of
ears.
those politically incorrect ones.
Get something exciting between your legs, ride an Arctic cat. I love it. I remember those Speedy Gonzalez patches too. A lot of people had those back in the day.
Yep, I got one of those.
Purple is beautiful. Yeah. Oh, that you've been just scratched by the cat. There we go. Nice. You're right. You can never pull that off today.
No, you're good.
Next to sex, my Arctic cat is best. Yeah. That's amazing. There we go. Kawasaki. That's cool. Thought I saw a putty tat.
Yeah.
He did see a putty tat. These are amazing. I like the cat with the Ski-Doo in its mouth.
Yeah.
So that one in the middle of the screen there, there's like an El Tigre suit from maybe the late 70s. Is that
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Very nice. Go cat go. I remember those. Speedy Gonzalez. You've just been scratched. I saw the Cat Factory. Nice. So they would give that out after a factory tour, it sounds like.
Yeah. This is actually a plastic bag.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of neat.
Nice. To put all your swag in.
Yeah.
Jason Erickson is saying if I decorated my house with all of this, it would be divorce court.
I've already been there.
Sure. I was going to say, you must have a very special wife to deal with all of this. This is amazing.
Yeah. So we'll move up here and go through some of these items.
Yeah, look at that. Now, what is that? A display rack? What is that in the center? I'm trying to make sense of that.
I don't know what you would call it. It's almost like something you just hang from the ceiling.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, like
Yeah.
a mobile almost.
Yeah, mobile.
Yeah.
Here's
here
a
we
bunch
go,
of
the jackets and suits.
yep. Here's a bunch of lounge pants. Most of them still have the tags on them.
Yeah. That's cool. I like those black ones with the 3-color stripes there.
Yeah.
I remember those.
This is a nice piece. This was still in the box with the tags on it.
Yeah. I like that box too.
Yeah. And then we'll breeze through the notes here.
Yeah.
They certainly made some unique clothing. I'll give them that.
Yeah, they certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think of all of the brands had some cool clothing, but it's just something really special about the cat clothing.
Yeah, it's certainly different.
Yeah. Because I remember, as a kid, we'd go trail riding with our friends, most of which had cats, and a lot of them had those cat jackets and mittens and helmets and everything. And I just have wonderful memories of that. But go ahead. Bowling shirts, nice.
Another bowling shirt.
Yeah.
There's a bunch here, that's for sure.
Yeah. I remember a lot of those. Those are amazing.
And you'll see when we get outside, I ran out of mannequins, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. I probably still have 50 or 60 face masks that I have to find room for. And I probably have 100 sweaters yet I got to find room for. And that's on top of the that are already out there.
That's amazing.
But here's a poster from 73.
There we go. Yeah. Arctic wear. Very cool.
A lot of people have these numbers on their sleds.
I remember those.
You would have found this at a dealer?
Yes, we had a 72 Cheetah with those numbers and letters on there.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing.
Here's another one of those funky coats Arctic Cat made back in the day.
Yeah, that is cool.
Here's a kind of hard to come by coat.
Yeah.
I show you.
That's got to be rare.
Shell?
Yeah. Very cool. Just catting around.
Here's another one of these mobiles that I didn't get a chance to hang.
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, I like the one with the footprints.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Wow.
This flag has some history to it.
Oh, yes. Tell me, please.
That flag hung at the factory.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always loved that logo, too. I love when they had that in Boston in the track back in the day.
Yeah.
And you could sometimes you'd see a track on the ground and you could see that that you knew that an Arctic Cat had gone through.
Yeah. Here's some more bowling shirts. These are all brand new with tags on them with the collars still in the cardboard still in the collars.
Yeah, nice. Oh, I like those socks, the little toe socks there.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yep, we got some socks there. And we have some socks that still have the wrappings on them.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thanks for coming over. And I like that purple and black
projector. I have the projector.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
I have a bunch of tapes. I'm going to get some more tape. And I'm going to copy them all to DVD. I didn't try this out yet to see if it works. It's supposed to. But I want to get the tapes copied to DVD before I put them in there.
Yes.
So we'll get there.
Yeah, when you do, I'd love to share those with our audience. I'm sure they'd see that as well. Good times are coming on the Cat. I remember seeing that sign at the dealership.
Yep.
That's amazing.
This probably has to be the creme de la creme of my collection. I have the Icelander boots that were still in the box.
Yeah.
I have the Icelander coat that was still in the box. I have the pants, the stocking cap, the vertical stripe Icelander coat, which I'll explain the story to you in a minute.
Yep.
I have the mittens. I have the blanket.
Wow, the whole ensemble.
Yeah. Now, from what I was told, this coat here was, for better lack of terms, was actually called a prototype. As you can see, the stripes go up and down instead of horizontal.
Yep.
And from what I was told, Arctic Cat made a few of these at the Rainy River, Ontario plant, and they sent them out to dealers to see which one they liked better. Obviously, the horizontal stripe one won out.
Sure.
But from what I was told, there was only a few dozen of these coats made, and to find one that's absolutely perfect from 71 is really something special. And I've been digging for this coat for a long time.
That's amazing. That's a real find right there.
Yeah, I finally got one.
That's amazing.
The boots were still in the box.
That's crazy. That's cool. Now, is there anybody at home that would fit? Has anyone ever put on that whole ensemble and had pictures taken with it? Or?
Yeah, I took a few pictures.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, what is this here? Is that a mannequin or a mannequin with a V-neck on it?
Cutout. Yeah, just a cardboard cutout. You would probably find at a dealer that they hung their latest bit of clothing on to showcase it, I would guess.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really, really happy I have this whole set. It's to me, it's really something special. I really like it.
That's amazing. And especially when you have the horizontal ones to compare too, that kind of completes the whole story you're telling too, that you've got both versions for people to see.
Now keep in mind the sweaters that are up there and the face masks that are up there. And you'll see what I'm talking about in a few seconds here once we get outside.
Sure.
Like I said,
go ahead.
Unlike the vintage guys that can pull their sled right off a trailer, it takes me hours to set stuff up, and it's a lot of work.
I appreciate you going through all that trouble today to set that up for this podcast tonight.
The pen holder.
Yeah, look at that. Right on the executive desk.
Yeah. All right, we'll go out in the garage here. I hope the lighting works out. I did my best.
Sure. Oh, look at this. Holy cow. I think I've died and gone to heaven. I think I've died and gone to heaven. If heaven isn't like this, I'm not going. Wow. I see what you mean now by the mannequins and
yeah,
that's amazing. What a collection. Yeah, that is sensational. Yeah, and Joe Tallow was saying thank you for sharing and for setting all of this up, and I echo that. I do appreciate that you set all this up today. This is amazing.
You'll like the front row here. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Most of these still have the tags on.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Wow, it brings back so many amazing memories to see all of this. The Hatteen Cup, wow.
Yep. And here's 3 of the fedoras.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
This is the fedora that goes with those mittens I showed you.
Yeah.
And they have the feathers on them.
That's amazing. I've only seen pictures of those fedoras. I've never seen one in person.
Yeah. I have all 3 Eskimo coats.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing.
And here's the coat.
Yeah. That's wild.
Here's the 2 race capes.
Yeah,
One of my
I've seen those.
favorite 2 pieces, and they're in excellent condition.
That's cool. Very cool. Now, do you bring these to various vintage snowmobile shows and meets and so forth to display them?
Yeah, the biggest one I was at the Eastern Vintage Nationals up in Lowville.
Yes,
and
okay.
that was a good time.
Good. And you had a good response to these? People really enjoyed them?
Outstanding. I really had a great time.
Wonderful.
These are all sweaters. There's, I'm sure, 100 hanging here
Wow.
with scarves.
That is truly impressive. Yeah. Oh, I like that white one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I like that one too.
That's nice. Yeah.
And some more scarves.
Yeah.
I have to build more racks. I know I'm close to 200 sweaters.
Wow. Now, did you set these all up for this podcast, or is this always set up in your garage? Or?
I set this up for the podcast.
Oh, wow. I really appreciate that, my friend. This is amazing. This is a genuine treat. And we're getting a flood of compliments too in the comment section. I don't know if you're seeing those pop up on the screen or not, but Jim Pugh is saying, Robert, you were the Arcticat master of Arcticat memorabilia. And we're just seeing tons and tons of comments like that. Here we go. Here we are. We're in the mother lode now. Look at this.
I do have some blank dealer signs like that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. The green body and the purple sleeves. I've never seen one like that.
This is one of those weird coats. It's so ugly. It's perfect. It's almost like a canvas material.
Yeah. It's so wrong. It's right.
Yeah. And the gentleman, this is one of those other finds that how I stumble on some of this stuff. A gentleman had contacted me a few years ago and said, I remember buying this coat new, and it literally hung in my closet from the day I bought it. And I'd like you to have it, and I got it.
Wow.
It's perfect in every way.
Now this one here, is that a cat head print? Is that what that is? I'm trying to. That's amazing. That's amazing. I've died and gone to heaven. Wow.
We'll go over here.
The cat was here. Cat Fest 93. Yeah, I love those coats. Are those windbreakers or are those insulated jackets or
They're just windbreakers.
windbreakers?
These
Yeah.
these here are different pieces. These three here are actually shop coats.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing. I've never seen anything like that.
yeah.
Wow.
And we got two really special pieces here. We got the he and she lounge outfit.
Wow. Oh, look at that.
We got the eyebrows on the woman.
That's amazing. Oh my God. That is so amazing. What a time the early 70s were with not just all of the snowmobile brands, but Cat just had something amazing going on with their, not only their
Yeah.
sleds, but all of their memorabilia, their clothing and mugs, and it just
I
they're
almost
just
wonder
over the top.
if they made more money selling memorabilia and clothing than they did sleds.
That's entirely possible. I wonder if
Yeah.
there's a way to research that, because I bet they did well on that.
They had to.
Yeah. 'Cause I
So
know as a
everything
kid,
I showed you tonight, that's probably half. I just ran out of time, and it takes so long to set all this up.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad you had me on.
Yeah, I'm really glad as well. And we'll have to have you on another time for some of the items you didn't have time to set up. Maybe we can rotate some different items on another podcast or something.
Yeah, it would be really great if we could do one on a Saturday where I could set these up in my driveway and line them up, because I have over 120 feet of racks, and I can fill them and have left over.
Yeah, we should do that, because I can record like this offline and then air it the evening of the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that
That'd
way,
be cool.
if you get a day where there's some nice weather, we're anticipating some nice weather, we can plan on a Saturday to do exactly that when the
Yeah.
weather is favorable and at a time that's favorable, and maybe when it warms up a little here in another month or two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. That's amazing. What a special time that was, the early 70s with the cats, man. There's nothing like it.
Absolutely.
And
And
is that a cat cutter? Is that? Go ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. What were
I
you
have
going to say?
Yep, I have a cat cutter.
An
I have all the
LT
parts restored. I'll get to it. I have an 81 Ultegra that I'm going to get to.
Yeah.
I have a 2021 Thundercat, so I like
Wow,
the vintage
yeah.
stuff, but I still ride.
Yeah, for sure. That's the ultimate trail machine right there.
Yeah.
And what's that sled
Yeah,
behind it on the other side of it?
I have a
Oh, an
73
Ultegra.
sheet.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, the other one, that's a ZR5000.
ZR5000. Wonderful. That's amazing. Yeah, next time you're on, you'll have to uncover that cat, that 73 Cheetah.
Absolutely.
Because my favorite sleds of all are the 73 to 75 Cheetahs and Panthers. So
Okay.
on a future podcast, I would love to have a look at that.
Absolutely.
Well, this is amazing. Yeah. Any final thoughts or anything else you wanted to share with us before we go? Or
I love going to vintage shows, and when I was in Lowville, New York, when they had the Eastern Vintage Nationals up there a couple years ago, there was a lot of people there, and my father, Amy, had taken a break, and they went to go get lunch, and I was around the stand, and I noticed there was a fairly older gentleman. He was walking around, and he was taking pictures. He finally came up to me and he said, "Young man, is this your stuff?" And I said, "Yes, sir, it is." And he said, "You mind if I take a bunch of pictures?" I said, "Please help yourself." And I was guessing he was probably in his mid 80s, early 80s.
Yeah.
And he finally came back over to me and he said, my wife passed away a few years ago, and he actually had tears run down his cheeks. And he said, "This brings back so many memories. I've seen and remember so much of this stuff, and it brings back so many memories." And that there's what made the show for me. It was really neat to see a lot of people really enjoying my stuff, but that older fellow, that it really touched his heart. That made my day. I really like that.
yeah, for sure. Because I'll be willing to bet that back in the day, he and his wife did a lot of trail riding, and they had the cats and the matching suits and the full experience. And I'm sure they have wonderful memories of doing that together. And yeah, I'm sure
Absolutely.
that brought back a flood of memories for him to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know it does for me as well. I mean, not the same situation as him, but just I was a kid and we had cats. Our friends had cats, and we all went trail riding together. And a lot of them had these suits, and it just brings back so many incredible memories of that wonderful
Yeah.
time. It truly was a golden age, not just of
Absolutely.
snowmobiling, but just something magical going on with Cat in the early to mid
Yeah.
70s.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just unbelievable. Yeah, I really appreciate you bringing this all out to show us, and just you having this incredible collection it truly is a phenomenon. I'm glad that we can share it with all these other enthusiasts who I'm sure are enjoying this.
Sure.
And I have to say that we have a record viewership throughout this whole podcast. A lot of times we'll have anywhere from maybe 50 to 60 people watching at any given time, and we've been over 100 several times tonight, and we're at 75 right now, and that's breaking a record for this podcast to be almost an hour in and have this many people. That's amazing. That's a testament to what you've got to offer here. That's keeping people on here.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling I would be willing to wager, if I were a wagering man, that you and I aren't the only ones that appreciate and have memories of this whole cat experience from the early to mid 70s.
For sure.
Yeah, what an amazing time that was. Well, great. Yeah, we do have to wrap it up, but yeah, unless you have anything you haven't shown us yet.
That'll do it. And I really appreciate what you do, and I'm sure a lot of other people do, and I thank you very much.
Well, yes, thank you, and let's stay in touch. And what you talked about doing on a Saturday, let's as it gets a little warmer, let's plan on doing that, and we'll record some video that will air on a future podcast.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Bob.
You betcha.
All righty. Take care. Bye-bye. Wow, guys, what do you think of that? Was that amazing, or was that amazing? I am just blown away by that experience. Wow. I just had a mindgasm, I think is what it was. I'm at a loss for words at how incredible that was. It just brought back so many memories. So without further ado, let's bring on our first guest. This is Ray Lacasse from Lancaster, New Hampshire. Let me turn on your mic, Ray. How you doing, Ray?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Doing very well. It's a real pleasure to have you on tonight.
Thank you. It's
now,
a pleasure
Ray
being
is
here.
Well, good. Glad to hear it. Now, if I understand correctly, you were hosting a vintage snowmobile event this coming weekend. I wonder if you could tell us about that.
Yeah, this is our first of hopefully an annual event up in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. That's actually where I live now. I grew up in Lancaster. We are expecting probably close to 200 sleds on Saturday. It's going to be from 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon with a free cookout. It's about a 30-mile loop through beautiful Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. Our trails are unbelievable. If you read anything in Snow Go magazines or any of the magazines, it's one of the top 5 destinations in North America for trail riding. So it's going to be a pleasure to see a lot of people. I've got people calling from New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island. A lot of people that are really, really interested in this, and I can't believe how it's taken off. We just really, really got this going about 30 days ago and put it together.
Wow, that's amazing to put something like that together in just 30 days.
Yep.
And I'm going to pop a graphic on the screen here so people can see the details about it, all the gory details as far as the date, location, and all of those details. We'll leave that up for a minute. Yeah, so this gives people a look at what to expect. And now, Pittsburgh being as far north as it is and high elevation than it is, you've still got plenty of good snow and trail conditions. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, we have really good trail conditions. The trail conditions south in town are a little skimpy on the local trails, but once you get out a ways, there's plenty of snow. We have actually a group of people that come up the first weekend in May every year just so that they can say they rode their snowmobiles in May.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. And you're right. There's not many places in North America that can lay claim to something like that. Only in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh has got it, and the grooming up here is second to none. They do a fantastic job with what they have.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, if I understand correctly, you also have some sleds you'd like to show us. Would you like to move over into the area where the sleds are to show us that?
I will, Mike. It'll take me just a second. I have to go out into the garage. I'm just a little ways away from that.
Sure. And I'm going to put, while you're doing that, while you're on the move there, I'm going to put the graphic back on the screen so people can get another look at this event you're having. And I'd like to invite anyone who's within driving distance of northern New Hampshire to come join Ray for that event this weekend. This is this coming Saturday in Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, March the 20th.
So I'm going to switch the camera now, Mike. And I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Can you see the sleds?
Yes, we have excellent video as well.
Can you see the sleds, though?
Yes. Yeah, I see the Polarises. Yeah, I see the PDC.
Okay, I can't see it for some reason. My screen locked up. So I'm showing you. This is Midge Rosebrooks, who Lancaster. This is his PDC clone. It's a 76 440 PDC clone that Mark Belanger and Whitefield completely restored this sled 2 years ago. I think you were there, Mike, for the unveiling to Midge.
I was, yes.
Hello?
Yes, I'm still here. Yes, I was here for the unveiling.
Okay, yeah, a little bit of a delay. So that's his sled. And I'm losing you a little bit, Mike. I don't know if you still have me. This is my 440 TX that Anthony Young in Pittsburgh completely restored last year. Mark Belanger did the motor work on it this year. Really, really fun sled.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's really nice. And Mark Belanger's work is second to none. If you're in northern New England, he's the guy to call for restorations. He really does amazing work.
Yeah, this is the back of Midge's sled, if you can see that. They
Yes.
really paid attention to detail on this sled.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really striking sled, especially in person. It looks great on camera, but when you see that sled in person, it really takes your breath away.
Yep. Yep. When we went to the vintage ride 2 weeks ago in Franconia Notch, these two sleds are probably the most looked at sleds, I believe, there.
I believe it. I believe it. That's a testament to the sleds and a testament to Mark Belanger's work.
Yep. Yep. I can fire up the 440 if you want to hear it.
Yes, please.
Okay. Give me just a second.
Sure.
Can't wait to take it out Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. That is going to be amazing. Yeah, I appreciate you showing that to us. And I bet you can smell that two-stroke in the air.
Oh, yeah. And there's, I don't know if you can see the motor. Hello?
Yes, I can see you. The audio cut out a little bit. I know we were showing something under the hood. I see those air filters on the carbs there.
That's all Mark Belanger's work right there.
Nice.
I'm going to go back in the house so that you can hear me, Mike, and won't be any
Yes, good
delay.
idea.
Okay.
Good.
I am back in the house. I will switch the camera.
Okay. While you're doing that,
I
I'll put your
can't
graphic
switch the
back up
camera.
on the
It's not
screen.
allowing me to.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, it's not allowing me. The screen's froze up on me again, Mike.
Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. I've got your graphic for the event up on the screen for people to look at. Did you have any final thoughts before we go? Or?
No, just looking forward to seeing a lot of people. I can't wait to see all the different sleds. The last event I went to, there's probably 80 sleds. We're expecting probably close to 200 vintage sleds this weekend.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's going to be a day to remember for sure.
Yeah, and we're looking to make this an annual event, hopefully to make it into a weekend event sometime down the road, with a ride and a swap meet to go with it.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that ought to be fun. That'll be a great time for people to, especially with that many people showing up with trailers. It's a great chance for people to sell and swap items and so forth, parts and sell sleds and so forth.
Absolutely.
And, with any luck, I'd like to be up there to join you next year as well.
Well, I hope so. You're more than welcome to come stay with us if you'd like.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll probably take you up on that. Well, cool. Well, yeah, thank you so much for coming on, Way. We really appreciate it. And good luck with your event. And do, if you're able to, try to take some video footage with a cell phone, and I'll put that on future episodes of the podcast.
We absolutely will. And I'm a photographer, and I have another friend that's a photographer that's going to be there. So we should have some really, really good shots of the whole event.
Excellent. Well, good. We'll look forward to bringing that on the podcast real soon.
All right.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
All righty. All right. Well, how fun was that? Got a chance to see some really nice Polarises, and he started one of them up, and he was telling us about that event as well. That's going to be a great event. So if you're within trailering distance of northern New Hampshire, that is the place to be this Saturday afternoon. So let's take a look at what's up next here at our little on our little agenda. We've got the Parker family about to come on. Let me bring them on. This just takes a second to click the right buttons here, and we have Ken and Brittany Parker. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Thanks for coming on. Now, Ken and Brittany were at Heydays, I think, a year or two ago, and they picked up a sled. We're going to be showing on the screen here. Let me change this format up a little and bring this on. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, do you guys want to do some show and tell on these images? I'll just hand it over to you guys, and you guys can tell the whole story.
Yeah, we were up at Heydays about 2 years ago, and just swapping like we always do, and ran across two 1969 Ben August Caribous. I had never seen one before, never heard of one before, and called a buddy of mine at home, and he had one, and he said, buy it, whatever you do, buy it. So I purchased it for $850, then brought it home, and me and the kids, we decided to do it as a family project.
Beautiful. So the images we're looking at now are still at Heydays. This is the before shots, correct?
Yeah, this is all before.
Nice. And I'll scroll through some of these images here, and stop me if there's anything you want to tell people about it. And so now we're getting into the restoration process a little bit.
Yep.
So this part you're disassembling the sled.
The gas tank was really difficult. Someone plastic welded it and did a horrible job. So I was able to clean it to really good condition, and we put some of this plastic resin on the inside of the tank to get it to seal, and actually it sealed really good.
Yeah, nice. Very cool.
That's the clutches. They're on the steering clutches. It was in really good condition. It just rusty, just like anything in the Midwest.
Yeah, yeah. So you disassembled this thing completely, correct? And just restored every single item and then reassembled it, and then painted everything. And
yeah, all the way down to the handlebars to the chrome. We completely did it. Brittany, what did you do on that?
Sanded it or whatever it's called.
Brittany did a lot of work on this. She did a lot of the sandblasting, a lot of the painting, a lot of just sanding down and restoring. That's a picture of my son Bryce.
nice.
He completely tore it all down with me as a father-son and family project. And
Nice.
we had to take pictures of it because we didn't know there were no manuals or anything. So we just completely took pictures as we went.
Nice. That's a good way to do it too. Take pictures every step of the way. So if you ever have to look back at how something was assembled, you have a reference.
Yeah, and these were difficult because, I had no knowledge of steering clutches. Never even seen one before.
Yeah, that seems like that would be twice as complex clutch-wise as a normal sled, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's just the drive chains.
Sure.
Took all the grease out of it, sandblasted down, polished it. Brittany did a lot of polishing.
Nice.
That's pictures of the steering clutches.
Yes. Yep.
Pictures of just taking it down to bare bones.
Now, was this Brittany? Was this fun and interesting for you? Did you enjoy this?
Yeah, I did.
Good.
It's a lot of
good.
work and stuff, but yeah.
Was it satisfying to see the project come together to a finished state?
Mhm.
Wonderful. So you think you might do another?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun just doing a lot of things with my kids, something we all look forward to.
Yeah, the family experience. This is what, the sandblaster?
Yeah, that was me doing sandblasting.
Yeah, she sandblasted a lot of parts.
Nice. That's cool. That's good experience to have.
Thank
Oh, here we
you.
go. Looking inside the sandblaster. Yeah. Here we go. This is after when you finish sandblasting?
Yeah, that's a lot more.
Cool.
Look at her nails. Nice. You want to point those out too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's looking good. Yeah. Good deal. Here we go. All polished.
Yeah, before and after it was secondary.
Yeah. Here we go. Look at that. Yeah, that came out nice.
We used a lot of nice and edge primer, the green stuff. Then went to a sealer, black sealer, and then we put a gloss black on all the parts, and then we hung them all up, and then painted them.
Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, that's cool.
The drive cogs, we sandblasted those down, and then hand polished everything,
Yep.
and then we taped them all off, and then Brittany did, and then she painted everything black.
Yeah.
That's the products we used.
Here we go. Yes. Is that a brand you're happy with? Would you use that brand again? Did you like that?
Yeah. I used the same brand on a Fox Trackverse engines sled, and it came out perfect.
Good. Good deal. That engine came out nice. Yeah, that's a lot of work. Would you venture a guess as to how many hours of work you have in this combined?
Gosh, Brittany, how many do we have?
I don't know.
Oh gosh, probably close to 1,000 hours.
Sure, I believe it. There's a lot of work that's gone into this. Yeah,
Those
this
drive clutches right there, I had to press it all apart, and it had these pins in it that we got to drive the pins out, and then actually we had to put them in a press 2, push them apart, then put brand new bearings in them.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Here we go. Yeah, when we were looking at this earlier, we were noting about how the tracks look in really good shape. These are the original tracks, you said?
Yeah, they were the original tracks. We went back in and painted each and every bolt. And then we put, put a silicone. I took all the tracks, put them in a silicone, and overnight into a bag, and got them really refreshed. And then put this solution I bought at O'Reilly's, and really made them gloss.
Nice. Yeah, they look almost like new tracks. You'd never know those tracks are 50 years old.
Nope.
That's really impressive. Is an even better look at them. And the wheels underneath look real good too. All of those were removed and polished and redone.
Yeah, all the bearings on them were replaced.
Nice. Here we go.
That's just on the assembly. Now, I did something. Brittany blames me for this, but on the nuts and bolts,
yep.
I went in and painted all the nuts and bolts. Well, that was a huge mistake on my part.
Sure.
Because I like to never got them where they needed to be.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go back with brand new one if you ever do one again. Don't be stupid like me.
Right. No, I hear you. Cool deal. Yeah, there we go. That looks all nice. That's really nice. Yeah. Everything's being reassembled. Yeah, the clutches and chains all came together nice. Yeah, look at that. And the brakes. All lubed up. Here we go. So now they're working on the hood.
Now this is where the real work started, right, Brittany?
Yeah,
You tell them how much sanding you did on that?
a lot.
A lot.
It's pretty much the whole thing.
Every inch of it. Huh?
We took it all the way down to bare fiberglass and then started doing Bondo work. Back there, you're seeing Brittany doing all the Bondo work.
Nice. Yeah, and these are important skills she's learning too. This is really cool. This is a great opportunity to learn some things. Yeah, this is cool.
He's sanding it down.
Nice. Yeah, that's looking really good. So this is another family member?
That's my wife.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. Good. The whole family's involved.
The whole family is.
That's cool. Yeah, I have to say that's a great family activity. You know, it's a great way to bond with your family and do things together, and just when it's finished, to enjoy the satisfaction of it together with your family as well.
Yeah. That's Brittany. We took a lot of care, and after each coat, or right before we made a coat on the yellow, we'd wipe her all down, get all any dust off, and then put another coat on, then let it dry, and then wipe it all down.
Nice.
Her name, her balloon that we named her.
Hey, Brittany, what did you name? Brianna, my other daughter, my oldest daughter.
Yeah.
She named the Ben August Caribou. What did she name it?
Caribou.
It's Caribou.
Caribou. Nice.
Caribou. And this is the book that we did. We have a 50-page book that we did that I gave to each kid.
That's cool. That's a great memoir for all of that. Very cool.
That's
Yeah,
Brittany doing painting and stuff.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that, Brittany? Do you enjoy using the air gun?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. That looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, I have to say too, you know, that this future of this hobby, vintage snowmobiling, I have to say is in good hands because we've got another generation of people that are getting involved with this. Because, you know, 20 or 30 years from now, this hobby is going to look very different. Our generation may not be around at that point. So we're relying on Brittany's generation to keep this hobby alive. And it looks like the hobby's in very good hands.
Thank you.
So, yeah, we're counting on you, Brittany, to keep this hobby alive.
I will do it.
That's some stickers that we had made here in Kansas City, Missouri.
Nice.
And I found that Brittany is one heck of a sticker installer.
Nice. There was an image of her somewhere installing a sticker. Let's see if I can find it. Here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great shot.
that's the money shot right there.
As it is, yes.
I should be on the cover of the book.
There she is. There's applying a sticker right there. Yeah, that's there's a lot of pressure there. There's no second chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks really good.
Not to mention her nails look good too.
Yes. Yeah, let's go back and look at the nails. Oh yes, yeah, that looks good. Good deal. And here's the finished. The sticker has been applied, and it's all straight and the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, applying stickers always makes me nervous. You can tell if I applied it, it never looks right. So yeah.
What was your secret to applying stickers?
Steady hands.
Steady
Did you
hands.
use soap and water?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Steady hands and soap and water.
Yeah, it came out really nice. Yeah, you're glad that I wasn't the one putting a sticker on there. It's good that Brittany was doing it. That's very cool. Here we go. There's the whole hood with the sticker and yeah, that's looking nice.
That's my daughter Brianna.
Okay.
And she did all the waxing, polishing,
I named it.
and detail, and then she also named the Ben August Caribou as Caribou Lou.
Nice. Yeah, I meant to circle back on that. Is there any meaning to that, or what was
It's a song. Tech Nine, he's a rapper.
And rappers. I didn't know that.
It's a song.
Okay.
And does the song refer to Caribou Lou, or?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so
I
that's
don't really know, but yeah.
It's the new generation. It's the new generation of vintage snowmobilers naming their snowmobiles after rap songs.
yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, literally.
Wow. Oh, she's buffing out the body of the sled there.
Yeah.
Cool. Here we go. Now it's coming together. Look at that.
I'm gonna pick up the pizza.
Here we go.
Now that there's a bumper right there. It was in really bad condition.
Yeah.
And we had to do some welding on it. And then I took it to a chrome shop, and they were able to really get it to looking good for us.
Yeah, it looks really good. Now, what about the upholstery? Did it need much in the way of upholstery? Because that looks like a pristine new seat right there.
Yeah, I took it to a canvas tent, a guy that works on tents, and then does a lot of stuff for pontoon boats. He did an amazing job on it.
Yeah, that looks really nice. Yeah, that looks really sharp. Oh, and the storage under the seat there. You know, that was a great idea. It's too bad they don't still do that on sleds. Sleds never have enough storage today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a P-Deadler that's like that too. It opens up.
Yes. Yeah, back in the day, we were really big into ice fishing, and in the early 70s, most of the sleds had an elevated box underneath the seat, the homemade kind of a deal. You know, we'd store a lot of ice fishing gear in there. There we go. That's coming together nice. Look at that.
There's a nice video of that my daughter took of me.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Now, is this fully assembled here with Brittany on it?
Yep.
Except the
Wow.
windshield,
Oh, except for
Yeah, the windshield's not on it.
Wow, that looks amazing. That's cool. Yeah, I would think for both of you and everybody involved with this, it has to be really satisfying to see it finished after everything you went through to restore it.
It was fun.
Mhm.
It was a good family project.
That's
I love to have my son with me doing it. Before he left he got a job with Artie Cat up in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. He's working as a mechanical engineer for them. My daughter Brianna, she really put in a lot of teamwork on this. And then Brittany, she just killed it. Being a 16-year-old and wanted to do as much as she did. So,
Yeah.
you know, I told her, I said, this project, it's hers. She owns it.
That's cool. That's amazing.
So
Hey,
we're going to take it
congrats
to
also.
shows and stuff after COVID's gone and show it off.
Yeah, that'll be a showstopper. Yeah, for sure. And congrats also to your son and your other daughter too. You know, especially your son with an engineering job at Arcticat. That's that keeps it in the family too. The whole snowmobiling heritage and everything.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, cool. Any final thoughts before we wind it down, or?
What do you think?
Mhm.
She doesn't know.
Let me see if I can bring you guys full screen for a minute. There we go. Cool. So I guess the final question I'll ask you: what thoughts as far as future projects? Any thoughts or hopes or aspirations for what that might look like?
Oh, I'm working on Ski Deadler a little bit. and then possibly maybe another Artie Cat I'll get. And whatever I find at Heydays.
Yeah, just walk around at Heydays. I'm sure something will jump out at you.
Always does.
It always does, absolutely.
Ooh, I don't have that. I got to get one of them.
Absolutely. We never bring enough cash for those kind of events. I don't think there's enough cash in existence to really do it right.
You never know, man. Came up, I found an M1000 modded out. I said, "Ooh, I gotta have it."
Yeah.
I'm glad I bought it. It's fun.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, great. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on tonight, and I know that you're a regular viewer of the program, and I really appreciate that. That means a lot that you're on here often.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, great meeting you guys. Have a nice evening.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun having them on and looking at that project, especially a family project. That really, it doesn't get better than that. Now, without further ado, let me switch screens here, and we're going to bring on our first guest, Mike Mahar. Let me get the screens. There we go. And get your mic on. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good tonight.
Well, good, good. I'm really glad you're on. I know we've been talking about this for quite a while, and it's a genuine pleasure to see you here on the podcast tonight.
Yeah, I really did want to get on earlier with you too, and the winter was just so busy, and actually Thursday night is always a tough night for us. So.
Sure, not a problem at all. And when you say you're busy, that is the understatement of the year. I'm going to give you just a taste of Mike's resume. He does the publication for the Vintage Snowmobile Club of America, which is a nice glossy publication on heavy paper. If you like vintage snowmobiles, that is the magazine to subscribe to, and there's a link to it in the description. He also is the organizer for Central Minnesota Pond Racing. He's been very busy with that all winter, as you can imagine, and then he also hosts some other events throughout the year, and we're going to ask him here to go into some detail. Before we talk about the magazine, Mike, I've got a quick graphic I'm going to show. I couldn't help myself. It's only about 30 seconds long, but I'm going to put it up to set you up to talk about the magazine. Let's take a look. There it is. You know where I got that, right?
Right. I like that one. It's good.
Cool. Yeah, please tell us about the magazine.
I think, I do know quite a few people from coast to coast, but actually my wife and I, my late wife, Judy, bought the magazine in 2005. And it's just been a fun thing for our family. Our whole family's involved. And we've met so many good people across the snow belt. Vintage snowmobiles are still probably the best group of people you're going to find anywhere in any sport.
Agreed,
the
absolutely.
magazine's still hanging in there, I think. I'm not sure, but I think right now I'm probably one of the longest owners of the magazine that kept it going, So
wonderful.
That's kind of a thing on our bucket list that makes me feel good, But
yeah, for sure. I know you work real hard on it, and it's a beautiful magazine. If anybody is viewing this and my tongue is in a knot, and if you're even remotely curious about the magazine, there is a link in the description where you can subscribe to the magazine. And this comes out how many times a year, Mike?
Yeah, it's 4 times a year. It comes out in March, June, September, and December. And we cover pretty much anything to do with vintage snowmobiles, all the way from restorations, shows, of course, and vintage racing. The last couple of years has been a pretty big deal across the Midwest, and it was doing pretty good in the East. You guys just had a tough winter with the COVID stuff this year, I've heard, So.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a good opportunity. I'm going to pop a couple of covers on the screen so people can see the December issue is there on the left, and the March issue, which I imagine has just come out, is the image there on the right, just to tease people into thinking about clicking that link to subscribe to this. What are some of the recent articles that have been in there that might capture some people's curiosity?
Okay, in the last one, we did a little bit of coverage too on the Eastern Snowmobile Hall of Fame. That was sent to us by Midge, so I thank him for that. And
sure.
We have one thing we've never done before. We did this time. We kind of did a tribute to the women of vintage snowmobile racing in this article for 2021, and it was surprising when that thing started how many women we actually have racing. And I know we still miss quite a few, and we're going to try to do better next year at that. Olaf Ayen. Olaf Ayen always writes this nice little tech article. In the last issue, it was Mikuni Float Bowl Carbs, it's a very detailed and good issue. We always got the events calendar, and we got the classifieds, the want ads. The 3rd annual Marineville, Pennsylvania show was in there, sent to us. That was a nice one. And of course, the centerfold was the big races at Eagle River, the World Championship for the Vintage Snowmobile. Yeah.
Wonderful. Cool deal. Yeah, and I encourage people to click on the link in the description to go on by and check that out. It's a great magazine. If you love vintage snowmobiling, it's the magazine, the reference for this hobby.
All right, and
now,
if anyone does have like a restoration they're doing or something like that too, and they want to take some pictures of their restoration on the steps as they go, write us a little article like where they found the sled and the parts and stuff like that. We'd be more than happy to publish that too. So.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, people love reading about that stuff, and that's the thing I'm finding with this podcast. People like viewing that on video, and they enjoy it just as much in print. And yeah, it's just really interesting to view that, whether it's in print or on a screen. Yeah, for sure. Now, before we switch gears to talk about Central Minnesota Pond Racing, did you have any last comments on the magazine before we switch gears?
Yeah, just one big thing for us coming up. We started in 2006, the VSCA Vintage Snowmobile National Show, and this year it's going to be in Marshfield, Wisconsin. It looks like it's gaining a lot of traction right now. I mean, it's pretty centrally located from east to west. We might miss some of the Canadians that we're hoping to have. If the border gets open or not, we don't know yet. But,
sure.
And again, there's an ad in the last couple of magazines. It's online. It's going to be another big show. The vintage shows have been doing very well at the Nationals. And a year from now, we'll be back out east somewhere again. We're just waiting to hear about that here real soon, and we'll be announcing that too. So.
Good. Yeah, I hope to run into you there. I know that's where we met back in 2016, was at the Lancaster show.
That's the show. Yeah, great show there too. It was a lot of fun.
And I think I have a graphic of some of the shows that you've been talking about. Yes, the graphic on the right, I think, is the show you were just talking about, right?
Yeah, the VSCA Nationals. Yep.
Sure. And then you sent me graphics for these other two shows. Did you have any thoughts on those while they're up on the screen?
No, yeah. Coming up Memorial Weekend, St. Germain, that's always a great show. That one will be here. And then the 25th anniversary of the Millbank show, Millbank, South Dakota. You buy a mug for $100. You get a free beer or root beer all weekend, free hog rolls, free camping, free swap meet. I think that's gonna be a really good fun time there too. Yeah, for sure. It sounds like with so much there, if they don't have it, you don't need it, right? That's right. It's pretty much everything's gonna be. Nice, very cool. Now, before we switch gears into the Central Minnesota Pond Racing, I do have a quick video. It's about a 2-minute video that shows one of the races in the F500 class. I'm going to run that real quick, and then we'll chat about that on the other side if that's all right. All right, I'm going to roll it.
Minnesota, he'll be on that, again, Woody's Traction Rocks Handguards machine. Jordan Johnson's a good one. Of course, Jordan comes out of St. Cloud. He'll be out there again. The Schaefer Racing, 21. Austin Kramer, the 965 out of Clear Lake. Jason Smoody, the 6. Jason, I think, is actually right here out of Detroit Lakes, up in this area up here. Anyway, Jason Smoody on that number 6. And then Jared Jost out of Alexandria, Minnesota, also comes out. He'll be out. And Jost just jumped the gun. He got to go in the back on that one there. Okay, let's try it again one more time. They drop the green. Here we go. Graber got a little bit of a hole shot in that one. Austin Graber out of Clear Lake on that 965. I tell you, the Graber boys have been fun to watch. Those two brothers go at it. He's been racing since he was 12 years old. He's about 25 now, I believe. As they come off turn 4, look at this. Here they come. Look at this battle for the lead again. It's going to be Smoody in the lead. Johnson's up there now. Man, and they're switching all over the place. A lot of shuffling back and forth as they go back and forth down that back straightaway. The first 5 sleds all locked up. 3-way battle for third right now. Here they come. Smoody's got the lead right now coming off turn 4. Hanging good, looking good. The 6 machine out there. Now Sears comes up there in the 15. He joins the party. And they switch it around some more. Sears on the 15, moves to second. Smoot takes the lead down the back straightaway. Here comes Hunter Sears one more time on the outside. And keep an eye. Looks like Graber maybe running third as they come out turn 4. And it's going to be Smooty with a win. Sears second. And Jordan Johnson finishing third on the 21J. Yikes. How about that, everybody?
So there you have it. That was a look at Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Yeah, can you tell us about that, Mike? Where did that all get started, and your involvement in it, and where we are today? Yeah, in 2013, actually, my daughter and I were sitting talking one night, and what we were really missing in Minnesota here was a place for people to start racing. We had some pretty high caliber stuff, the Oval Racers Alliance, all that stuff, but the competition was very tough to get into, and it was quite expensive. So we started what we called, actually we started out as Mid-Minnesota Winter Shows, but we always raced on a lake, and we kind of picked up the name Pond Racers. So we said, well, let's just call ourselves Central Minnesota Pond Racers, or CMPR for sure. And, in the last 7 years, it's growing at a rate we never would have imagined. We're probably by far the largest circuit. I don't want to say across the whole snow belt, but definitely in the Midwest right now. We race everything from vintage single cylinders to pro lights all in the same day, so. That's cool. And so something for everybody at every stage of racing. Yeah, and every stage in between. We go all the way through the vintage super stocks, vintage mod leaf spring, the IFS Snow Pro sleds, and we do junior. We have like 6 junior classes, all the way from junior vintage. We have a 10 and under class, 11 to 15 class, and then we got junior novice, junior 1 sprint, junior 2 sprint, junior 500. I think we had about 26 juniors racing with us this year. 26. That's amazing. That's cool. That's the future of this hobby too.
It was our goal fest, and the juniors all run free with us. They don't pay anything to race.
Really? Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, while we're talking here, I'm putting some comments on the screen, and they're coming in so hot and heavy that I lost my place. But the bottom line is they're saying they're really enjoying this. Where the heck? Here we go. Okay. But please continue your thought. I'm sorry. But the thing I was going to mention about the juniors, that is the future of this hobby, and that's really encouraging to see so many juniors interested in this, to show up to race like that.
Yeah, right, exactly. And we also let the moms get involved. I think we have about 18 women drivers too. We make classes for them, so dad can come and play, mom can play, and so can the kids. And some of them they can have one sled, and they all three can race the same sled. So it doesn't have to be very expensive. And we got a business model, where each driver pays $35 that day, and then they can sign up for as many classes they have a legal sled for and run for that one $35 fee. No insurance fees, no membership fees. My daughter and I go out and we just raise sponsorship to pay for all that and give the drivers a break,
That's amazing. That keeps it really affordable and accessible to pretty much anyone who wants to do it.
Yeah, right.
Very cool. Very cool. And I'm just popping some comments up on here. People are really liking this. And the thing I was going to mention too is that I hear a lot about Central Minnesota Pond Racing doing this podcast. A lot of people will say, do you know if there's racing this week, or these kind of comments. And it's like, yeah, it's a household name, not only I think in the Midwest, but just across the vintage snowmobile hobby.
Well, a couple of years ago we started doing the live streams, which is it's not real cheap to do that, but we usually raise enough sponsorship to pay for that, and then everybody gets a live stream. Our race is free. We got some great sponsors, and I should have had a list of them here tonight, but I don't want to. If I start naming them off, I'm going to miss some important ones, I'm sure. I can say like Country Cat, Sock Center, Minnesota, the Wonder Shites. They're our title sponsor. I mean, those guys, stick a lot of money in their little circuit and help us out a lot. There's many other ones too.
Sure. That is very cool. And to people who are regular viewers on my Vintage Snowmobile Lovers Facebook page, I've carried some of those races, both live and after the fact, for people to see, with your permission, of course. And it's gotten very good viewership, sometimes 7, 8, 10,000 views. So it's been very well received.
We usually get, each race, we have about between 21 and 24,000 viewers during the race. From Sweden. One day we had people logged in from Sweden, Canada, Arizona, Florida, Texas. So, I mean, that's the cool part. People that would never see racing, get to watch racing for the day, I know the plow breaks and stuff like that get a little boring, but that's just kind of part of the day, The racing was really good this year. So,
and some of the racers show up from many states away as well. I know Josh Gilbert had planned to go this year, and he was going to come out from, I think, Idaho, wasn't it?
And we were Pierce Lake, Idaho, I believe. And I was looking forward to that, and actually they were going to bunk with me for a week or so here, so it was going to be a great time, and hopefully things work out better for them next year, and they can make it out and come play with us. So.
Yeah, for sure. But that really is impressive that people from that far away are interested in coming to that event, to participate.
Mm-hmm. We usually get, Michigan and Wisconsin are pretty well represented. Iowa, North, South Dakota, Logan, Utah. We had a guy show up from there this year and raced with us. We used to have quite a few Canadians. Again, this year, we usually have about 12, 15 Canadian drivers, but they couldn't make it across the border. The border's still closed.
Border's still locked up. Yeah, sure. Now I've got a comment on the screen from our friend George Papillon. He was wondering about how to subscribe to the magazine. And George, there is a link in the description for you to be able to subscribe. Also, if you're interested in Central Minnesota Pond Racing, there's links in the description for that as well. If you get on their Facebook page and start scrolling down, just keep scrolling, you'll see a number of different races there, and you can watch pretty much the whole season from the Facebook page.
Right, and anybody that wants to subscribe to the magazine too, it's just www.vsca.com, and there's a store right there. They can sign up. When they get on there too, they can see my phone number. They can call me.
Nice. Yeah, in fact, I was on that page today. I think if the vsca.com page, if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, there's a link for a subscription.
Yeah, we're right on top. You can go over to the store, hit store, then it'll say, sign, subscriptions too.
Oh, good. The store link too. Excellent.
Yep.
Good deal.
Great.
Well, cool. Any final thoughts, Mike, before we wrap things up? Or?
No, thanks a lot for letting me come on tonight, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. And
yeah, absolutely.
Thank all the viewers that, come on and listen to us,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thank you for coming on as well. And anytime you have something to talk about, whether it's with racing, the magazine, or any kind of events, please be in touch with me. We'd love to have you on here and promote that.
All right, sounds great.
All righty. Thanks, Mike. Have a good evening.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun having Mike on to discuss all the things he's involved with. And we hope that he's a regular on the show here. Now, next up, we've got Ray Lacasse. Ray was on here last week talking about a vintage snowmobile event that he was working on. And he's going to, let me get the right, sorry, I'm moving around on the interface here. Let's bring Ray on, and he's going to tell us all about that event and get his microphone on. How you doing, Ray?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Good. It's great to see you.
Good to see you too.
So I can't wait to hear about this event. Tell me how that went.
Well, it went very, very, very well. For something that we just started to put together about 4 weeks ago or 4 weeks prior to the event, we were expecting maybe at the beginning, if we got lucky, probably 75 to 100 sleds, and we had close to 200 vintage sleds for our first event. It was tremendous.
Amazing. Wonderful.
Yes, it was. It was very wonderful.
And people were coming from several states away, weren't they? A lot of them?
We had people coming from Connecticut, from New York, from Pennsylvania, from Rhode Island, from Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont. It was incredible. The people that said that they got up and they left at 4 o'clock in the morning to get up here by 9 o'clock just to do this event. So it was really, really cool to see that.
That's amazing. That is dedication to the vintage hobby, isn't it?
It is. It is. And the trails that we have up here are just unbelievable. People, your friend Midge Rosebrook, who has been my friend for a long, long, long time. When he got off his sled for the first leg of it before the cookout, he was just shaking his head in awe that he could not believe how much fun and how big these trails were and how wide and flat and just beautiful condition and beautiful scenery.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good deal. And then I have to inquire too, for people that are interested in trying to find places where they can still do some late season trail riding. Are there opportunities in or near Pittsburgh where someone can try to get a few miles in?
There are some still left, Mike. This year is kind of a bad year. For most of the trails, usually we can leave from anywhere in Pittsburgh this time of year, but right now it's the northernmost part of Pittsburgh, which if people don't know, Pittsburgh is the biggest township east of the Mississippi, so we cover a lot of area. We have 230 miles of trails just in Pittsburgh alone, so if they trail further north in Pittsburgh up towards East Inlet and Deer Mountain Campground, there's still some riding. I saw some posts today on Facebook where people put about 60 miles on, had a great day.
Wonderful. So for those late season trail riders that are watching this, you heard it here on the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast. There's still some places where you can grab that last ride of the season.
Yeah, and we're supposed to get a little bit more snow Monday, and it's going to be cool next week. So who knows what's going to happen?
Sure, it could go on for another couple of weeks if we're lucky.
You never know.
Good deal. Now you sent me some photos from this event, and I put them together into a little montage with some music. Let's take a quick look at that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike.
Sure. So I'm hoping that little montage is going to tease people into thinking about coming up there next year for this ride.
Yeah, it's incredible the amount of people I talked to and the stories that were told. But there's so many people that said they had a lot of friends that want to do this. They had obligations because this came up so quick. They're looking forward to bringing a lot of people with them next year. I've got people messaging me still to this minute probably from this event, which is incredible. And it's a testament to not just the trails in Pittsburgh, but the people that are dedicated to the vintage sport. I mean, it's incredible, and the stories are just fantastic. We're looking at probably having somewhere, guessing with the people that have responded, somewhere between 350 and 400 sleds next year.
That's amazing.
It's going to be great.
Oh, and I meant to ask you, what would you say the ratio was of vintage snowmobiles to modern snowmobiles that showed up at that?
I would say there's probably 90% vintage snowmobiles. The 10% that showed up may have been a couple of people that were riding with them that didn't have a vintage sled. A lot of them just happened to be riding the trails and saw all these vintage sleds and just stopped in awe, walking around and just having a good time. I mean, it was about the vintage sleds, but it was about the snowmobile family. It was just awesome.
The real strong sense of community.
Yes, it was.
Nice. Now I have to ask you this too. If there's someone who's thinking about doing this next year and they're maybe either going to fly in or drive from a long distance and they may not want to trail their sleds up, are there rental opportunities for someone like that?
There are. We have a great place here in Pittsburgh. It's Bear Rock Adventures. They helped sponsor this event with us. They were very gracious when I went to them. They have brand new snowmobiles. They have a pretty good fleet of snowmobiles because we have a lot of people that come up every weekend. So yes, there's absolutely a place for them to get a snowmobile to rent to do this.
Wonderful. That is good to hear. And tell us, what is the date of this? When and where and all of that, if there's someone's thinking about this for next year?
Yeah, well, we've picked the date already. It's going to be the same weekend. It's going to be March 19th of 2022. We're expecting, like I said, 350 to 400 sleds. So we're probably going to have, and we're going to work on this. It's going to be a work in progress, but it looks like we'll probably have like 3 starting points that would go a couple of miles before they merge onto the same trail. So we're going to have plenty of parking, plenty of trails to ride. And if they're registered, like I said, we got 230 miles. If they want to go ride, they can go ride and have some fun.
That's amazing. And if I remember correctly, for those who have maybe a vintage sled that's not registered, if they just stayed on the trail that you were going on, that circuit, that loop, they didn't have to register their sled. Do I understand that correctly?
You do understand that correctly. We're permitted through the state. We will get another permit for next year. And it doesn't even have to be a vintage sled. They could bring up a new sled. They can run any sled that they want as long as they stay on the marked trail during the designated time without it being registered.
That's an amazing opportunity.
Yep.
That is cool. Well, I'm going to tease the people just a little bit more because not only do we have that photo montage we just looked at, I've also got some footage that you sent me.
Great.
Let's take a look at that, and I'll catch up with you on the other side of it.
Awesome. I want to relive this again.
Absolutely. That looks like so much fun.
It was a ball. As you can see, the trails were beautiful too. It was a beautiful day. 99.9% of the trails had snow on it. We had just very, very few spots in a corner here and there that might have been a little bare, but the rest of it was beautiful.
That's amazing. And as watching all of these sleds go by, that reminds me of and looking at the images too, the still images, reminds me of the ride-ins of yesteryear that we all used to go to back in the day. And I think that was kind of your goal with this, wasn't it? Didn't you have a cookout in the middle of it too?
We did. We had a cookout. Everything was free to anybody that wanted, even people that came by on a regular sled. It was all free. We had a cookout about probably, it was a 30-mile loop, and probably about 18 miles into it, we had a cookout. We had a beautiful area where people could park and enjoy. It was a great time. The stories were just priceless. Talking about the days of, when they used to ride these sleds, their parents had these sleds, they bought these sleds because of that. And the stories, it's what it was about. It was phenomenal.
That's amazing. And you're right. It was about the community back in the day. It wasn't, like you said earlier too, it's not about how many miles you put on. It's about the fun that you're having with your friends and the activities. And we used to stop sometimes and make a fire on the side of the trail, cook hot dogs, or we'd all go to a restaurant, or you just get a whole bunch of friends, and you'd see friends when you're out on the trail and they'd join you, and you get this big convoy going, this big posse going. And it sounds like it was kind of reliving that. And it just sounds like a whole lot of fun. That was your goal with it too, wasn't it? To kind of try to relive that magic of yesteryear?
It absolutely was. I mean, in one of the gentlemen that I talked to, I don't remember his name, but he hit it so perfect. He said this back in the 60s and 70s, it used to be a social event. They'd take the families and go out and do a 20-mile ride, and they'd stop and start a fire and have a cookout, and they would talk and throw snowballs and just have a good, it was a social event for the family. And he said, this is a social event. Everybody's talking. And this is what it's about. It's not about doing 150 miles in one day. It's not to see who can go the fastest. It was just an event for, for everybody to get together and talk and enjoy yesteryear.
Wonderful. A chance to make new friends and have good times with old friends. And yeah,
absolutely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, when we spoke earlier, I think you mentioned for next year, you're thinking about structuring it a little bit differently and maybe incorporating a swap meet as part of that.
Yeah,
we're
looking. I'm not sure if that'll happen next year, the swap meet. It might be the year after, but we're going to try hard to do it, to make it a weekend event and have a swap meet. Many of the people that I talked to, that I went around and talked to, they were all for it. They were really excited that I brought that subject up, because somebody's always looking for something that somebody else might have.
Yeah, and somebody's always looking to part with something too, for a part to a sled they don't have anymore or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a great opportunity for sure.
Yes. Yeah. And we're going to do some other fun things too next year that we didn't think of until after this year. Like who drove the furthest away? Who's got the oldest sled? We're going to put up some prize money for stuff like this, and do some other fun things that we're going to work on this summer to enhance this a little bit.
Yeah. Those kind of things make it so much more fun.
Yep.
Definitely. That is cool. Very cool. Any final thoughts, Ray, before we wrap it up? Or?
No. I thank you, Mike, for having us on, and thank you for all the people that are watching. This is going to be a big event next year, and if you've never been to Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, the trails are second to none. Our Pittsburgh Ridge Runner Snowmobile Club, they work tirelessly to make these trails flat. They do everything they can to make it such a great experience up here. Lodging up here is phenomenal. Just a great area, great scenery, a lot of things for people to do on the trails.
Wonderful. And as it gets closer to the event next winter, we'll have to have you come on, and we'll do some promotion on it and to make some noise for it, so we can get that many more people to show up.
I love that. I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. You know what we're going to try to do? We're going to try to make it like Woodstock. You remember the footage of Woodstock in '69 where the highways were closed?
Yeah.
We're going to make it. We're going to have history repeat itself.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool deal. All right. Well, thank you, Ray. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Have a good one.